Welcome back to part 2. We're going to talk about what people perceive as a leak on this spout assembly. Here is the center of the spout assembly. Here is the gasket that seals in the can. Here is the seat that the gasket seals in. It's a big gasket and a big seat. There's no reason for that to leak unless the gasket that's on the center of the spout is badly damaged and is allowing fuel to flow past it, and a simple visual inspection should show you that you have a serious problem with your gasket that would allow it to leak. Right here is a vent hole. This is where the can takes on its air to allow the fuel to flow out. Okay, so what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to put this spout on and explain how it works. The collar compresses the centerpiece into the middle of the can, seating that gasket and sealing it off. These holes right here, all the way around, are to let air come back in underneath the collar and go into that vent hole to fill the can as you're fueling. What happens is inside here, the vent tube, there is a vent tube connected underneath the neck, corresponding with that hole that runs down the center of the can, across, and then up into here. When the can is full and the fuel's been sloshing around on top, that vent tube gets full of fuel. So when you begin to fuel, the vacuum is not created in the can fast enough or strong enough by the exiting fuel to suck that fuel back into the vent tube, back into the can, so it purges out the vent hole. And it purges out the vent hole underneath this collar, and it can kind of puddle under there. So when you first start pouring, you'll see a pretty strong dribble that lasts for a few seconds, and then it drips after that, and people perceive that as a leak of the unit malfunctioning and leaking. It's not. It's fuel that was purged from the vent tube that is sitting in the collar and dripping out. Once the fuel level in the can has been reduced a little bit, like if you use a gallon out of it and then go to use it again for a gallon or 2 or 3 or what have you, that doesn't happen anymore. It only happens when the can is full and fuel has been splashing around in the top and has filled the vent tube. So for the most part, if your gasket is in good condition and your gasket seat is in good condition on the can, there's no reason that you should have a leak. But you are going to lose fuel out of this vent when the can is full and you begin fueling. There's no way around it. It's just the nature of the beast with these cans. It's the way they're built. And last but not least, I got to cover one other thing real quick before we go, and it is, surprising as it may seem, when you inspect this collar, it appears to have cracks in it. And when you look real closely, they are cracks. It has something to do with the manufacturing of the unit. I've looked at my oldest collars and my newest collars, and they all share the cracks in the exact same place. There's one that runs across here to this hole, a short one to this hole, a short one to this hole, one at a different angle to that hole, and when you look on this side, you probably won't be able to see it on the film, but if you have one, you'll see the corresponding what appear to be cracks on the opposite side, and they do in fact appear to be cracks that are all the way through the material, and they've been there ever since I've started using these cans, and that's been a number of years, and they're still there. So they're still using the same manufacturing process for this, and it's still causing these. But let me assure you that the structural integrity of this cap or of this collar is not compromised by whatever that is. I've never had one of these break on me. I've never had a chunk come out of it. I've never had it crack down the side. I've never had one of these fail on me, and I've used hundreds of these with the 3/4 inch spout assemblies on those cans. I've used them hand tight. I've used them wrench tight. Of course, not ridiculously tight with the wrench, just snug, and have never had a problem. So that should pretty much cover any questions that people have about everything I've heard. If you have any other questions or need any other information about the spouts that you think I can help with, drop me an email at jagmte@gmail.com, and I'll do everything I can to answer your questions and help you with what you need. Thank you very much.